Right now, someone could be using your identity to open a credit card in your name, taking out loans, even ruining your financial future. And you wouldn't know it until it's too late. In the past year alone, identity thieves stole over $10 billion by hijacking people's credit. And guess what? Most of their victims could have stopped them with one simple step. It is called a credit freeze. And if you are not using it, you are leaving the doors wide open for hackers to destroy your finances. Stay with me because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to freeze your credit, and why it is the number one protection against fraud, and what happens if you don't take action. In an age of data breaches and identity theft, protecting your financial information is more critical than any other time in history. And one tool that you have in your disposal, one powerful tool that you have in your disposal is a credit freeze. So in this video, we're going to cover step by step. We're going to break this down step by step, what a credit freeze is, how it works, when to use a credit freeze, how to set up a credit freeze, and alternatives to a credit freeze. So be sure to watch this video till the very end, and also share this video with other people who need the key information. And just so you know, I'm going to leave the notes for this video in the description section below. If you want to download the notes or the PDF, I've got a fine PDF with the details that I'm going through. So no need to take notes. Easily go to the link in the description section below, click on that and download the PDF that you can always reference in any time in the future. What is a credit freeze? A credit freeze is simply known as a security freeze. It's a way to restrict access to your credit report, making it much harder for people to open up credit in your name, new credit in your name. Whenever your credit is frozen, lenders cannot pull your credit reports, which means no new loan applications are made, no new credit card applications are made, and no unauthorized access to your credit. So this is very critical when it comes to protecting your financial information. Remember, when it comes to your credit freeze, it does not impact your existing credit cards. It does not impact your credit score. It does not impact your bank account. So doing a credit freeze will not make your credit score go up or down. It just means that you have restricted access to your credit report and credit information. How does a credit freeze work? Your credit report is managed by the three major credit bureaus: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. When you have a credit freeze in place, lenders who typically assess your credit risk through your credit report via these credit bureaus are now unable to do that. So when you have a credit freeze in place, you cannot apply for any new loans. And in order for you to apply for a new loan, you have to manually go in and lift the freeze. So you're temporarily unfreezing the credit freeze, if that makes any sense. Keep watching because I'm going to explain all this stuff in details when we come to how you can set this up. Next up, we're going to talk about when to use a credit freeze. A credit freeze is ideal in these three situations. One, if you have been a victim of identity theft, maybe you suspect a fraud, something fraudulent going on with your credit report. Two, the credit freeze is also useful or very ideal in a situation where you do not plan to apply for new credit. This can be new mortgage financing, this can be new auto loans, personal loans, and any other type of credit, refinancing. So if you are not in the market for a new credit, that's when you should use a credit freeze. Three, if you, for some reason, want to restrict unauthorized access to your credit, maybe you feel like someone that had access to your credit might get back on it, a credit freeze is ideal for that situation. So these are the three key situations that you need to implement a credit freeze. Now that we've talked about the three ideal situations when you will need to freeze your credit, let's talk about when not to freeze your credit. If you are constantly switching jobs, you don't need to freeze your credit, because some employers run your credit just to make sure, depending on what position that you're applying for, to run your credit to make sure you're going to be a good fit for them, especially positions that need financial responsibility. They want to make sure that you can handle what it takes. And also, if you're applying for insurance, this can be auto insurance, this can be your homeowner's insurance. Most types of insurance will need to pull your credit. They'll need to pull your credit. And if you have your credit frozen, you just want to make sure you're not going through that process at that time. Next, we'll go through how to set up a credit freeze step by step. Step one. You have to reach out to the credit bureaus. Remember, we talked about the three major credit bureaus: Equifax, Experian, TransUnion. You can do this in two ways. Either you pick up the phone, you call the 1-800 number for each of these credit bureaus, and you let them know you want to freeze your credit. Now, this might be a long, drawn-out process where they keep you on the phone, and you got to wait till someone picks up. This can take hours, depending on the time of the day and the volume of the calls. But one of the steps that I love to go through is the online method. So using the online method, you're going to have to visit each of these credit bureaus. Check out their website. You're going to go to Experian's website, Equifax's website, and TransUnion's website. So this will be the step one. Get online or get on the phone. But for this purpose of this video, we'll talk through the online process. Step two would be to verify your identity. Once you get on the website, the next step would be to verify your personal identifiable information, your PII. This would be your name, your full name, your date of birth, your social security number. And once you're done with the PII portion of that, you'll be asked for security questions and also to provide a government issued ID, pretty much verifying that you are who you say you are. Step three is to receive your PIN or password. So once you're done with the identity verification portion, each credit bureau would need to give you a PIN. And this PIN is something you need to store securely because you will need this the next time you go in to manually lift your credit freeze or to temporarily unfreeze your credit. So you need the PIN and password stored in a safe location. That way, you will always need it when it's time to unfreeze. And step four is the confirmation process. So this is pretty much the last step when the credit bureaus can confirm that your credit has been frozen. This happens most times instantaneously. If you're doing it over the phone, this might take up to 24 hours to get active, even online. But typically, this can be instant or it can take up to 24 hours to complete. And you get an email once this is all said and done. This is how you know your credit has been frozen. Okay, so now that we've talked about how to freeze your credit, we're going to talk about how you can unfreeze your credit. This is a very important step because you're always going to need to run your credit or have your credit pulled at some point in the future. But if you have it freezed, how are you going to unfreeze it? That's what we're talking about right now. So the very thing you need to know is that when it comes to unfreezing, it's quick and easy. There's no rocket science here. You want to pick up the phone or you want to go online to each of those credit bureaus with the PIN number and password that you stored, and you specify a time period for them to unfreeze or for your the freeze to be lifted. And this can be 7 days, this can be 14 days, this can be however long you specify. That's what is going to be unfroze for, or unfrozen for, but however you say that. But anyways, you get the point. The point here is it is a quick and simple process. Once you go through that, once you put in the specified time, the next step would be to get a confirmation. This confirmation can happen instantly, like when you did the setup, or it can take up to 24 hours for the freeze to be lifted. Again, let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. Don't forget, I do have the PDFs, the notes for this, in the comment section below. Click the link in the description section below to download these notes. It's free, no charge to you. There's a big confusion when it comes to credit freeze, and that's what we're going to talk about next. Most people feel that a credit freeze is expensive or you have to pay to get your credit frozen. The answer is no. Anyone who is charging you to freeze your credit might just be scamming you. Perhaps maybe they mean credit lock. So we're going to talk the main difference between credit lock and credit freeze. And here are the two key differences you need to know about. When it comes to credit freeze, it is free. You can do it yourself. As far as I know today, there is no cost to freeze your credit. But when it comes to credit lock, there are some applications, some services that you can download on your phone, some apps on your phone or your computer or some websites, web-based apps that all they do is help you lock your credit just for a period of time. That is not a credit freeze. So you pay these services to lock your credit, but oftentimes people get it confused, thinking the credit lock is the credit freeze. That these two things are not the same. And the second thing I need you to know about a credit freeze is that it is government regulated, right? A credit lock is not government regulated, but a credit freeze is government controlled. So once you have that access restricted by law, no one can authorize you or can get access without your authorization to your credit. But a credit lock is somewhat different. So you got to know these two things are not the same. Credit lock and credit freeze are not the same. Under no circumstances should someone charge you money to freeze your credit. That said, which one should you use between a credit freeze and a credit lock? Use a credit freeze if you want the highest level of security. Use a credit lock if you want an easier app-based access to your credit. Here are 3 most common questions about credit freezes. 1. Does a credit freeze affect my credit score? Answer is no. A credit freeze has no impact on your credit score. 2. Does a credit freeze affect my existing loans and credit cards? Short answer is no. A credit freeze does not have any impact on existing loans. It only affects new accounts that are yet to be opened. If you plan on opening new accounts, then you're going to run issues if you have an existing credit freeze. And then 3, can I freeze my child's credit? The answer is yes. You can only freeze the credit, or you can request a freeze for your child or minor who's under the age of 16. If your child is over the age of 16, you are going to have them do it themselves. So I hope this helped. I hope this video was helpful to you. And if you're looking to expand your financial knowledge, if you're looking to get more tips for your financial wellness and financial success, be sure to subscribe to avoid missing out on more helpful videos. Share this video with other people because people deserve to know what to do to position themselves for financial success and protect their finances as well. Give this video a thumbs up and see you on the next one. Thank you for watching.